So, my dear students, I welcome you all to this session. Today I am going to deal with the poem Belly of the Tempest. Sorry, I am going to teach you the second language English for 10th standard. Today I am dealing with the poem Belly of the Tempest by James T. Fields. So before going to the poem, we have to know about the author who wrote this poem, James T. Fields. So let us know about him. James T. Fields, he was born in Portsmouth, New Hampshire on December 31st, 1817 and named James Field. The family later added the S. His father was a sea captain and died before Fields was there. Fields was 3. He and his brother were raised by their mother and her siblings. Their Aunt Mary and Uncle George. At the age of 14, Fields took a job at the old corner black store in Boston as an apprentice to publishers Carter and Henry. His first published poetry was included in the Portsmouth Journal in 1837. But he drew more attention when, on September 13, 1838, he delivered his anniversary poem to the Boston Mercantile Library Association. In addition to his work as a publisher and essayist, Fields wrote poetry. A number of his works are collected in his book Ballads and Verses, published in 1888. This volume contains the poem Ballad of the Tempest, which includes the famous lines, "We are lost," the captain shouted, as he staggered down the stairs. Okay? So now, come to the poem Ballad of the Tempest. Fortune favors the brave is an often quoted statement. Even Columbus had a lot of faith in the Almighty, but it is true of everybody. Now, listen to a poem where the sailors face a great peril. See whether someone will come to their rescue or not. Okay, this is the introduction. Yes, now come to the lesson. Now I am going to recite the poem. You have to enjoy the poem while I am reciting the poem. Okay? Yes, open your textbook. We were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. It was midnight on the waters and a storm was on the deep. It's a fearful thing in winter to be shattered by the blast and to hear the rattling trumpet, thunder cut away the mast. So we shuddered there in silence, for the stoutest held his breath, while the hungry sea was roaring and the breakers talked with death. As thus we sat in darkness, each one busy with his prayers, "We are lost," the captain shouted as he staggered down the stairs. But his little daughter whispered as she took his icy hand, "Isn't God upon the ocean, just the same as on the land?" Then we kissed the little maiden, and we spake in better cheer, and we anchored safe in harbour when the morn was shining clear. So have you enjoyed the poem? Right. So now let us understand the poem. Let us understand the poem now. So in this poem, once a ship was caught by the violent storm. Once a ship was caught by the violent storm. So in this poem, the poet describes the situation and condition of the sailors. In this poem, the poet is going to describe the situation and condition of the sailors who were in the ship. The speaker of the poem is the sailor. In this poem, sailor is the speaker. Sailor is the speaker. The ship was caught by the violent storm at midnight. The ship was caught by the violent storm at midnight. All the sailors in the ship had crowded in the cabin. All the sailors in the ship were crowded in the cabins because they were feared. Though it was a midnight, night no one dared to sleep. Even though it was a midnight, so nobody had dared to sleep. They were feared of the storm. All were frightened. All the sailors were frightened. The storm was very deep. It was fearful because it was winter season. Why was it fearful? Because it was winter season. The ship was break apart. The ship was to break apart by the gust of wind. The ship was to break apart by the gust of wind. The sailors heard the rattling sound of trumpet. The sailors heard the rattling sound of the trumpet, and someone thundered to cut away the mast. All sailors were in silence and of fear. All the sailors were in silence and fear and of fear. Even the strong, bravest person had held his breath. Even the strong, bravest person also held his breath. So the sea was roaring. The sea was roaring like a hungry lion. So the poet compared the sea to a hungry lion. The large turbulent waters, the large turbulent waves, talked with death and moving towards the land. Going towards the land. All were sitting in the darkness. Everyone was praying to God for their safety. Everyone was praying to the God for their safety. At that moment, the captain shouted. At that moment, the captain shouted that they were lost. The captain shouted that they were lost. But his little daughter, by her innocent art, her little daughter, by her innocent art, whispered. She took her father's cold hands. The little daughter took her father's cold hands and said that the God upon the ocean was same as on land. The little daughter said, the God upon the ocean was same as on the land. Is it? So by hearing or talk, by hearing the talk of the little child, got some hope. All the sailors got some hope and prayed the God earnestly. They got So they got hope. They got inspiration and prayed the God earnestly. All were kissed the little maiden. All the sailors kissed the little maiden. Suddenly the astonished change occurred and the sailors anchored the ship safely in harbor. The sailors anchored the ship safely in harbor. The morning in the light, the morning in the sky was shining. The morning in the sky was shining clearly. Okay. So, have you understood the poem? So now, I ask you to read the poem silently. After that, I am going to ask you some questions. What? Yes. Have you finished your reading? What? We were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. Who does the word we refer to here? Not a soul would dare to sleep. Why was it so? We were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. Who does the word we refer to here? Yes, a group of sailors. Here, we refers to the group of sailors. We refers to the group of sailors. Group of sails. Group of sailors in the ship. Not a soul would dare to sleep. Why was it so? Not a soul would dare to sleep. Why was it so? So in the midnight, during the winter season, their ship was caught by the violent storm. The ship was caught by the violent storm. So the sailors would not dare to sleep, so because of fear. Yes, their ship was caught by the violent storm. Their ship was caught by the violent storm in the midnight. In the midnight. So the sailors would not dare to sleep. So the sailors would not dare to sleep. So move on to next question. The poet says that this is a fearful thing in winter. According to the poet, what is referred to as a fearful thing in winter? How would be the condition in the deep sea during the winter on the sea? So you have to understand. The poet says this is a fearful thing in winter. According to the poet, what is referred to as a fearful thing in winter? How would be the condition in the deep sea during winter on the sea? Yes, violent storm. Violent deep storm in the winter was a fearful thing. Yes, according to the poet, a violent deep storm in the winter was a fearful thing. The force of wind could cause the ship to wreck. The force of wind could cause the ship to wreck, to ship to break apart. Yes. According to the poet, a violent deep storm in the winter was a fearful thing. Was fearful thing. The force of wind could cause cause the ship to wreck. Cause the ship. Okay, is it clear? What is the fearful thing? Violent, deep storm in winter was fearful thing. So now, move on to the next question. How does it affect the sailors? So read the first two stanzas. How does it affect the sailors? Read the first two stanzas. Have you read? So during winter, the sea water will be very chill. In the winter, the sea water will be very chill, means very cold, and become frozen into ice. Frozen into ice. If the ship shattered, the condition would be serious. Yes. If the ship shattered, the condition would be very serious. The sailors had to face many difficulties. It affects the sailor to death. Sailor to death. Yes. During winter, the sea water will be very chill. Will be very chill and become frozen into ice. Became frozen into ice. If the ship shattered, the condition would be serious. The condition would be serious. The sailors had to face many difficulties. Now, move on to next question. The speaker and his crewmates sat in darkness and prayed. What did they hear? Yes, when the speaker and his crewmates were busy with the prayer, they heard the shout of the captain that they were lost. So what did they hear? They heard the shout of the captain that they were lost. The sailors heard the shout of the captain that they were lost. That they were lost. Move on to the next question. When the captain shouted, "We are lost," how did his daughter react? How did his daughter react? The daughter reacted calmly. She took his icy hands and whispered. She took his icy hands and whispered, "God is there upon the ocean. God is there upon the sea, as God on the land." God is there upon the ocean as God on the land. The little daughter took the captain's old hand and whispered, that God is there upon the sea, as God on the land. As God on the land. So, move on to the next question. The crewmates kissed the maiden and spoke in better cheers. What made them feel cheerful? What made them feel cheerful? Yes, by hearing the words of little maiden, the crewmates, means the sailors, got some hope. So the sudden change occurred in their heart. They kissed her, cheered up. By hearing the words of the little maiden, the crewmates got some hope. They kissed her and cheered her. Yes, is it clear? By hearing the words of the little maiden, the sailors got some hope. Then she kissed her and cheered her. Fine. Yes. Okay, I think you have understood the poem well. We have answered all the questions correctly. Now, we have come to the last stage of this class, that is home assignment. So I am going to give you some questions. So you will have to answer them in your own and submit it in the next class. Okay? So take down some questions. We were crowded in the cabin. Crowded in the cabin. Not a soul dared to stay. Dare to stay. Who does the word we refer to here? We refer to here. Not a soul who dare to stay. To sleep. Why was it so? Why was it so? Yes. The speaker and his roommates sat in darkness and prayed What did they hear? What did they hear? What they hear? Then the captain shouted, we are lost. We are lost. How did his daughter react? How did his daughter react? The humans kissed the maiden and spoke in better cheers. Better cheers. What made them feel cheerful? So take down all these questions and answer all those questions in your room and submit it in the next class. Okay? Thank you.